everybody, and welcome to the What's My Age Again podcast with me, Matt Rhodes, and my good friend, Matthew Carline. Hello.
That's me. I'm Matt Carline. Hello. Hello, Matt. It's been a while.
How are you doing? Oh, you know what? Too long.
Far too long. Yeah, far too long. I am good, thank you very much. But I probably don't feel as good as you are looking. Because
Thank
you are
very
looking...
much. I'm wasting away, you know.
As soon as you came on the call, I realised your face was a lot thinner. And I was like, oh, he's been hitting the gym, the whole gym hard.
Yeah, so I got an absolute mega bargain about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago now. Bought a load more weights because, as you know, I previously had weights, but I'm too strong. Too strong for my own good.
Too strong for weights now.
So the weights that I had were not enough. So I've got some new weights. They're big and heavy, and I'm living the dream. But I've lost since this time last year, I've lost about 4 stone. So, you know, doing all right. Yeah,
that's really good.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still fat. I'm still enjoying being a big fat party animal. But you know, I'm literally adding years to my life. If I carry on like this, I might live forever.
You could just Benjamin Button it. You could just reverse and just get younger and younger.
Can you imagine if that, like, at some point I become so young I can no longer grow a beard, but my hair starts growing back?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You see, we've been through this in other podcasts though. Like we've already touched on that. We're at peace though, aren't we? With our follow the challenged look.
I'll still shave it off. But
it'll be your choice.
I'll know. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. It'll be my choice. It won't be foisted on me by poor genetics. it'll be a choice that I've made.
Yeah.
So, anyway, speaking of getting younger, that leads us quite nicely into today's topic. What we're talking about.
Well, we don't really have anything massively specific. We were trying to go down a specific lane, but then we end up kind of just going down a bit of a rabbit hole. And now we're just talking about the internet.
Yes,
so
the
internet. Later, future Matt input the internet box from the IT crowd here.
Click.
There we go. So the IT crowd, the internet box will appear. So we're talking about the internet and basically about is the internet outgrowing us? Is it speeding ahead of us at a rate that we cannot quite keep up? Are we no longer allowed to be on social media, or are we like fads like Snapchat and TikTok? Are we allowed to be on them things, or is it anyone's game? Is anyone allowed to play? That's what we're going to talk about.
That's the question. But let me tell you this.
Okay.
I feel like we're two sides of the coin on this issue. I think because you yourself are quite active on a lot of the. I don't mean to say this in a derogatory way, but a lot of the younger people's platforms. You know, you're toxic and you're that sort of.
Your tactics. I thought you were singing Britney Spears then.
No, they're just words. I'll switch them around if I want. You know, when this is all over, me and you can sit down for a chat shit. It's you can do it with anything. It's great.
Oh, that's definitely an old person thing to do. Just pretend like you don't know what the actual thing is. Like, oh, that bloody tactics. Oh, you won't catch me on there. Never. But yes, you are right, Matt. I got sucked into the TikTok realm at the start of the first lockdown, and you know what? I've not deleted it since, but I kind of had a bit of time away from it, and then mainly because I got annoyed because my first account, which is my personal account, I didn't become TikTok famous, so I decided that it wasn't for me. So then I just went on it just every now and again to browse on it. But then I started a new one to do with my MCU account, the MCU guy account, and I do Spider-Man things on that. And I'm about 130 followers away from 1,000.
Well, this is the thing.
And I've only been doing it about 4 weeks now.
this is the thing, innit? Because I noticed you were on there. And I joined up.
Yes.
I don't make videos. I don't do this for the acclaim. I don't want to be famous. That being said, if I lose any more weight, I'll be putting thirst traps up there. But I follow 2 people on there. Both of them my friends. One of them you. And this is it. Which means that 50% of the people I follow are you, which is a lovely statistic there, because this is it. And you thought you weren't famous. Imagine.
Oh, well, I'm famous in your eyes, clearly.
This is it. Imagine being 50% of the information on any given feed. Marvellous.
Is that a pun because of the content? The Marvel content?
Yes. It certainly was. So yeah, and I see you getting on there, but I feel like a lot of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of it is an excuse to show off your Spider-Man costumes.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it massively is. Didn't really
was/is.
Yeah, well, the thing is, at first it was I probably set it up as like a way to, because basically all I wanted to do was try and like get myself on every single platform that there was available for me to take over some social and have some social media presence for my MCU account, because I've got a Twitch account, so I live stream games. I play like Fortnite again, which is something we're probably going to get to, and I'm doing a walkthrough of the Spider-Man PS4 game. So I'm on Twitch, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and Facebook and Twitter. So I'm just trying to get on every single social media platform to try and build like a social media presence, so then I can just push on and make sure, because the good thing is, because the MCU podcast does quite well, and again, this podcast will do well, and the other podcasts of the network are all going to benefit from having
we don't
a focal point.
Allow me to play devil's advocate here for a moment.
Oh, go on then.
We don't need anybody else to listen, because we have the perfect amount of people listening right now. We don't need these fair weather followers. Who've turned up because they like looking at you in spandex. They don't need that. That being said, again, I would say I'm about a stone off from just getting my kit off on the internet now. Yeah, it's a laugh, isn't
it? Well, you know what? One thing the viewers and the listeners aren't going to know is the fact that in a random conversation that we were having a couple of days ago, you just randomly text me and told me you were thinking of becoming a model.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And you know why? Because...
Why?
Well, first of all, because I'm incredibly good looking. But...
that was a given. Like, there's no debate in that, obviously.
The reason that came about was because I had been texting my boss, your friend, my boss, texting her for about 12 hours at that point, telling her she needed to get somebody else to do my job because I was off to be a male model. And I spent 12 hours building up exclusively to send her a photo of me doing this.
Oh, did you blue steel it? Nice.
And this is
that is a good effort.
Things just to make myself laugh in this lockdown land, but also.
So are you telling me that you're not becoming a model? Yeah, I'm going to say you should 100% do it, especially if you become handsome. Well, you're already handsome, because if you become a muscly ginger man, people are going to be like, "Whoa, this guy." Because the whole exactly, because you got to think. They're doing, obviously, all body shapes and sizes are beautiful these days, of course, which they always have been. But now people in the social media are getting on board with that and being like, yes, let's have more people with ginger hair and beards and bald and curvy and all kind of stuff, which is great. And you know what? You could be a model. And I would buy pictures of you, Matt.
Well, this is the thing. You wouldn't have to, because if I was a model, I'd give them out like opinions. They'd be everywhere. Anything, not bothered. I'll get on Cameo.
Okay. Oh, you know what we are going to do though? If once we get your headshots and we do like some photo shoots, what we're going to do is we're going to get a billboard we're going to rent a billboard and we're going to put an advert for this podcast, and just have a picture of you, just like flexing your gun, just being stood there like no top on like this, being like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like we should get the one at the top of Drake Street, right at the top there where traffic lights are.
Yeah. If anybody who doesn't know, not from Rochdale, that's like a main street in the place that we live, where a lot of people pass. So it'd be like Sunset Boulevard that kind of vibe.
The two are very comparable,
I don't know exactly. Anyway, so I think we're kind of digressing here from the topic. Although what we need to address is the fact that if you do become a model, then you probably will be expected to become a TikTok person, because that's what famous people do these days. This is how big TikTok is. Like now, football clubs or soccer clubs, football clubs for English folk, they have their own TikTok accounts now, which is just mad. It's got to the point where football clubs are jumping on this bandwagon and now having to have a TikTok to have some sort of social media presence as well on TikTok, and all they're doing is they're just posting clips of players doing like challenges or like clips from matches and stuff, which is it's cool and it's interesting, but it's just got to the point. I think it's got to the point now where everyone and everything that could possibly be on TikTok now has an account.
Yeah,
and that's completely different to where we were like a year ago. It was a kind of like a new thing. I think it started in 2019, as far as I'm aware, but it didn't really. I think it really took off a lot during lockdown because obviously everyone had a lot more time to fill, so it became a thing that everyone kind of jumped on the bandwagon for, and now it's snowballed into this absolutely huge thing. Only thing I think that's going to happen now, though, is obviously the whole world's going to be coming out of lockdown over the next couple of months, and maybe this time next year there'll probably be no social distancing at all and no reason to stay at home. So I've got a feeling I think TikTok's going to die a death in about a year's time. I don't think it's going to be around for that much longer, because you got to think it's the same kind of thing as Vine. Like, do you remember Vine? Is that a thing that you?
Yeah.
On board
I was vaguely aware of it. I wasn't on it because the problem is, I am under normal circumstances, remarkably cynical man, and it's. I'm
shocked.
It's more the amount of effort I'm willing to put into any given thing varies.
Yeah.
It flip flops like the shoe of the very same name. It's so.
Flippity flappity.
I mean, that being said, I'm running a cult on Instagram, aren't I? So that's
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I'd ask you how that's going, but I can't imagine it's going very well with the fact that you can't see people.
No, you see. Yes, that has been somewhat of a hamper. It has somewhat hampered my efforts. However, now bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing, building up a backlog of goodwill amongst certain sectors, the young, the impressionable, the Satanists, the big three, to the point where when we are allowed to go out again, who knows? Yeah. Maybe we'll kill a goal. I don't know.
Tell you what, your cult could benefit from having
Spider-Man. Oh, that's see. I can't believe that we've suddenly become the official cult of the British Spider-Man. That's it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly. Maybe I'll plug you. Maybe I'll plug your cult on my feed. You never know.
Maybe. I mean, maybe I'd maintain distance personally, but whatever. So, here's the other thing, though.
Yeah.
Why do you think that certain social media platforms are clearly viewed as like not that there's no old people on there, but certain social media platforms, for instance, your TikTok, while we're on the subject, but also I would say probably Twitter, probably Instagram. Everyone's on Facebook, like your mum, your grandma, all that. Yeah. But I would say you're less Zuckerbergian. They don't have the same reach, but they certainly don't seem to. You've not got Like if someone told you, "Oh, I'm not on Twitter," you go, "Fair enough." If someone told you, "Oh, I'm not on Facebook," it's a much bolder claim, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's a rarity these days. Well, not necessarily a rarity, but I mean it's one of those things where people, if you meet someone new, and you want to become friends with them, and the first thing you do is like, "Oh, you're on Facebook." The first thing you do is like, ask, "Are you on Facebook?" Or like, you probably exchange numbers maybe. But for someone who like you've only just met like through a friend of a friend, and like you obviously you're not bestest friends right yet.
Yeah,
You'd be like, "Oh, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll add you on Facebook," because that's just the thing that we've become accustomed to through our last, I'd say, 13, 15 for the 15 years. I think we've been on Facebook.
See, I'm doing the big push though. This time next year, I'm telling you, people will be meeting and saying, "Oh, how are you for cults? Do you fancy one?" And that'll be the new normal.
All right, okay. So you're saying that instead your cults will become the new Facebook. So instead of social media, it'll be just joining a cult.
Yes,
an online cult.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like, although I find Twitter is, I think there's certain people who go on certain social medias, and I don't think your age necessarily matters too much if you're on Twitter, but it's what you use Twitter for, because it's obviously very specific. Yeah. The same with Instagram is very specific, and that is aimed at the younger person or somewhat. It's because Instagram is just essentially just pictures, isn't it? And it's just visual stimulation that it's. Essentially, people it's the most narcissistic of all the social medias. So, and you think that's something that younger people would probably, that's the kind of trait that a younger person would have, as opposed to like my nan isn't going to have Instagram where she's going to be putting pictures of herself.
Instagram.
Mum cutting her
Instagram.
Treat. Yeah. Well, I think that there should be an Instagram, because I'm sure there must be an Instagram hashtag on Instagram where people it's just grannies, which is funny as hell.
Yeah. So now here's the question though, because as you know, I'm on Twitter myself, right?
You are,
but I exclusively use my Twitter for things that have made me laugh. So occasionally, when I'm not feeling so clever, I'll go back through my Twitter and be like, "Ha, this guy gets it." And it's me. I'm the guy that gets it, right? No one else is interested at all, except me. And I go back and I go, "Ha, maybe I'm right." And then, and again, I would argue that is perhaps more narcissistic.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, in that way, you're essentially just cataloguing all of your favourite humorous things and putting them into a thread and being like,
it's like an into the void.
Yeah, it's like an online book, isn't it? It's just like an online joke book, but the jokes aren't necessarily like one-liner jokes or not jokes. They're just things that you find funny.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think I'm pretty much the same, although my feed on Twitter is just kind of filled with either promoting podcasts that I've been on, or every now and again, when a big wrestling event comes up, I'll live tweet and I'll spam the fuck out of it for the whole 4 hours that it's on. And I'm pretty sure I'll lose at least 3 or 4 followers every single time I do that. So all the people who stick around, later, cheers. All the people just mute it, because
they come back.
I would.
A couple of weeks later, they come back. They think you're over it. Wrong. Yeah. It'll happen again.
No, because the Royal Rumble happens in January, and then WrestleMania happens in April. So there's only like a couple of months in between. So basically, the start of the year is not a great time to be alive for me on Twitter or my Twitter followers.
The Super Bowl as well. The Super Bowl is set out.
I do tweet. I tweet about the Super Bowl as well, like quite a lot, but not as much as wrestling.
Well, I feel like we should, first of all, make a Super Bowl event for the pod, because I'm always down to ruin a Monday by spending a Sunday in an elaborate fashion. That's the one. Yeah. But that being said, obviously, as part of my fitness purge, I've not fucking had a drink for like 100 days now. So the Super Bowl this year was a bit of a fucking It was just I was sat there sober going, "Oh, Tom Brady, Oh, I dislike you. Oh, Patrick Mahomes and your silly voice. Oh, it's just you got to make your own fun, aren't you? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, yeah. Especially if you're not drinking, you kind of have to make your own fun. Yeah, I completely agree. But I was going to get back onto the topic of these accounts and the platforms for younger people. So the thing, what I was saying before about like football clubs being on TikTok and all that kind of stuff, and it becoming like a big thing. This fad culture that we seem to just have. It's like the throwaway culture where it's the bright, shiny new thing that comes and we have it for about 2 years and it just disappears again. Well, the same thing happened with Vine, where because I remember Vine. I wasn't on Vine, but I remember it being a thing where people used to show them stuff, and it was good for what it was. There were like 15-second clips or something, and they were funny little videos, which was mint. It's essentially just, if you think about it, it's just like memes, but clipped, so GIF memes, but even longer. And I thought that was a fantastic thing, really. And I'm a bit gutted that it kind of disappeared, because I think that was a very, very funny thing. But again, that was something that when we were, I must have been about 20 in our 20s when that was around, like at our mid-20s, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it feels like it was only last year, but it's probably 5 years ago now. I've not, as we learned when we were doing the Christmas quiz, I've no concept of how long a year actually is. I don't know.
No. That's true, you don't. You rubbish with time.
I'm not. Well, this is the problem. As far as I'm concerned, it's irrelevant, isn't it? It goes like child, teenager, grown up, and that's just three sections. We're in the third one. It could be a week long. It could be fucking 60 years long. I've no idea.
You're not a scientist. Jesus.
You know what? I'm not a scientist. But that being said, I think if anyone could pull off a white coat, because they flap as well, that's the beauty of it. It's quite a long, flappy coat. I reckon I could do it. I'd just be dynamic with it and storm into rooms and be like, the results! And people would probably not question it.
Would you come in like flap your coat, like?
Yeah, I'd have a clipboard.
Like ruffle your coat a bit. And just be like,
I'd have a clipboard, yeah. I'd have a clipboard, but there'd be nothing on the clipboard, so that then basically I could just fan through it like that, and just agree with what someone else says, because then they've done the research, haven't they? What I'm doing, piggybacking on somebody else's scientific grant.
And driving that point home for them.
Yeah, that's it, because sometimes people make a point. Maybe they're not that popular. Maybe they're just a scientist nerd. Maybe that's what they are. And they've made the point and someone goes, shut up, nerd. However, if there's a second person turning up going, yeah, he's right, instantly twice as convincing.
Yeah, especially if it's a handsome model.
Exactly. Right. So, model scientists.
That could be your thing. That could be your window. Like some scientists, they want to get a presentation. They need something done. Like we need to pass through some cure for this. And then they're like, oh, but the board's never going to accept it. What can I do? It's all right. I've got a guy. Ring. Hello, is this Matt, the badass model? You'd be like, hell yeah, it is. What do I need to do today? Coat, scientific coat. I'm there.
And that's it.
And then you stride
slam
in.
the phone down, and I don't even need to know what they're talking about. You just come in and you kick the door and you go, that man's right, but you have to make sure you're pointing at the right man. That's the problem.
Maybe get them to send a picture of the person that you're backing up before you go to the job. So maybe, we'll try this. We'll try this again. Bring, bring. Hello. Yes, this is Matt. You need me for modelling things? Okay. Who's the guy? Text me on 0800 fucking guys in the ass.
Whoa! Then, I mean, this modelling career has taken a turn real quick.
Well, you know what pays, Matt? Sex. Yeah. Sex sells. So you are going to have to potentially get your member out.
And that's not my issue.
Not on these kind of jobs. I don't think on these kind of jobs. Just on further jobs.
Just ruining scientific research by just coming in. Just
coming in with dick out. No, we're not having that yet.
Because you storm in and you're like, who's died? Because I'm at half mast. And that's But the problem is, that's not my issue with it. My issue with it was 0800 fucking guys in the ass. No, I'm aware that there is a certain market. That's absolutely fine. Each to their own. However, personally, not for me.
And
well,
you see, I was only saying that because it's a Blink-182 joke. So I was seeing if people were going to get the Blink-182 reference.
Well, I certainly did not. I assumed you were being homophobic about male models.
Of course not.
What was that?
I opened a beer and then I threw my keys down on the table and it just flew off the table, but it flew onto a plate of a bagel that I had before we started recording. So I'm actually going to grab that bagel. So I had to grab my keys there because I won't be able to open any more beers after that. I had cheese and jalapenos.
Nice. That's a strong choice there.
Hell yeah, it is.
I had, as part of my campaign to be the world's healthiest man.
Yeah,
I just had loads of nuggets because that's the thing, innit? If it's good enough for Usain Bolt when he's breaking world records.
Does he eat nuggets? Are you not thinking of Mo Farah and his corn nuggets?
No, they're two different people.
Of course they are, but I didn't know Usain Bolt ate chicken nuggets.
Yeah, before he broke his whatever he did, fucking 7-second mile or whatever insanity that he did. He had a load of nuggets.
Oh God, I don't want to run after a load of nuggets.
No, see, that's the difference in it because he's a professional athlete and we just like nuggets.
Yeah, but he's still eating the same nuggets. So what is he eating? Is he eating super protein nuggets? What? And then they can make him run faster? I don't get that at all.
I don't know, but I feel like we've veered off again, and this appears to be brought to you by the Chicken Nugget Council of Great Britain.
Okay, right. Let's go back on topic. So these young people and their young applications. So where do you stand on Snapchat? Because I think Snapchat came about around the same time, I think, as Instagram. So I think we were of an age where it was definitely more than acceptable to be on Snapchat. I still have Snapchat. I don't really use it a lot, but back in like 2015, it was my main form of communication with at least half of the people that I knew. What about you?
So, I didn't go big on Snapchat really, only because I'm just on WhatsApp with everyone. But there's a few people that like I talk to exclusively on Snapchat just because they just use Snapchat and that's the way that they do that. But the thing is, I know what my face looks like. So I don't. Every time I say a sentence, I don't need to see my face. It's not, and that's not me being critical or anything. But I don't know. It's a bit. It is a bit like when you see a parakeet.
Yeah, because I see them all the time.
All the time.
But,
yeah. And they're fascinated by mirrors and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
It seems a bit like, we'll have a normal conversation, but every time I say a sentence, it's like a Peep Show with the monologuing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that a lot.
Oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, I can see your comparison there.
And this
you could make a whole episode of you could make an episode of Peep Show just by doing Snapchat conversation between two people. That'd be well funny.
But then the problem with it is, obviously, yourself. A lot of the comments I make are either nasty, smug, certainly smart-assed, and you message them to someone, they might be a bit annoyed. If you message them to someone alongside pulling this face, I've only got so many friends. I can't afford to piss them away like that.
No, yeah. I suppose you might come across a bit worse if you're doing that, because then you're adding context into your already sarcastic tone.
That's it, because if it's just text, they might go, that sounds a bit dickish, but he probably didn't mean it like that. If you're adding a real smug face as well.
You 100% mean it. And that's how it was intended.
That's what I meant. I hope you're upset. Like...
Oh God. Well, I'm glad that we don't exclusively talk via Snapchat, because
I mean, we can if
we
you
would
want,
be greatly offended. No,
but that's it's really intense. Or, to be fair, we can just start sending pictures of our faces across on Messenger. I don't give a shit. It's fucking. I'll bastardize whatever platform you want. It don't matter.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. We'll make it a requirement now. Every single. What we could do is take little videos of each other. That's the way we talk. That's the only way we communicate now. Is little video clips of each other. Yeah, little video clips, which is the best way of talking ever. What's actually, I was going to talk about this. This is not necessarily about the internet, but this is. Can probably kind of put it in the same group. What are your thoughts on voice recordings? You know, when you're texting.
Right. So there are certain people. I love a voice record off, whether it be it amuses me, how they talk, the inflection on words, or whether it just be like, oh, you've got a nice, pleasant voice, and I like to listen to it. However, sadly, the Venn diagram of people whose voice you want to hear and people who send voice recordings, that sliver in the middle where they cross over, it's very small. Very small indeed.
Ooh, it's teeny tiny.
Yeah. So you've got people that have the pleasant voices, the lovely accents, the excellent turns of phrase. And then you've got people who sound like they've been punched in the throat and still insist on doing this. And it's just a tragedy, especially because I'll be walking around, get my steps in and that. And someone will message me, I'll have a look, and I go, it's a voice recording. First of all, I've got to turn my music off to listen to it. So how important do you think you are? Secondly, if then I turn my music off and they don't know what they're saying, if they've started recording and then started thinking, annoyed, to say the least. The number of times I receive a voice recording and it starts with someone going, you start it when you want. You start it when you want. Unbelievable. That being said, if you were personally ever sent me a voice recording, this is not to you, but if you personally have ever sent me a voice recording, here is a disclaimer: I'm not talking about you. You have a lovely voice, accent, turn of phrase.
It's for to anyone who you don't know who's not sent you a voicemail. There's the ones we hate. We hate them.
They're the ones we hate, and you know what? I hope they don't do it again.
Yeah, exactly. I only have one friend who does that. I have one friend who does a voice clip. And it's part of. No, because I'm not going to, because it's one of my best friends. But the thing, he's probably never going to listen to this podcast, though. So I probably could say anything about him, and he'd never know. But I'm not going to, because I love him, and he's a very lovely guy. But he insists on doing voice chats and voice messages, and it's always in group conversations. Which means that some people text and some people voice. And if you're at work and there's a load of stuff going off in a chat, and then you look at your phone and you're like, but some people are talking, you're like, so you're reading what they say. Then one person sends a voice message. You're like, well, now I've got to stop what I'm doing to listen to that, to go back to the conversation, to then text back. It's like, just text and read the room. If we're all voice clipping it, that's fine. But if one person's doing it out of 5 people, read the room. Read the room. Get on board.
The strangest part of the whole thing is a few of the people who insist on sending me bastarding voice recordings are the same people who don't like phone calls.
That makes no sense.
No, absolutely not. It's madness.
Not keen on that. Not keen on it.
Nope. You know what? I'm good.
Don't like it.
I don't care. I was trying to shift the blame and be non-offensive earlier, but I'll tell you one thing: I'll be sending some voice recordings when we finish doing this. In fact, what an excellent disclaimer! If by the time you listen to this, you haven't received a voice recording of me telling you to grow up, then I wasn't talking about you in the first place.
There we go. That is Matt's warning to you.
Some people are gonna get it.
Someone's gonna get it. I think what we should probably do is maybe go to a break.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I believe you have some facts for us and some statistics. Is that true, Matthew?
I've got a couple, yeah. My problem is, I looked it up. I did a bit of research. I'm not sure who I believe on this.
Oh,
There's all sorts of weird and wonderful, statistics. But then again, let's see. Let's go for a bit of a break, though. Are we hearing from Are we hearing from somebody else? Are we having a?
Yeah, we'll have a little advert for someone else. Yeah, well, let's someone else on this other wonderful network that we're part of.
What a treat! Here we go.
Hi there, I'm the MCU guy, and I host a podcast called That MCU Podcast. Who'd have thought it, eh? So if, like me, you like to hear things like this.
We know that Taskmaster has like a camera on top of his head, and they know that he can replicate all these moves. But I feel like there's someone behind him doing all the hard work and doing all the graft, and I think that's Ray Winston.
Or this.
When I've written theories about that particular show, my suggestion has been is that Vision is a life model decoy with the program memory from Wakanda.
And a little bit of this.
We pitch to Disney Plus, Homes Under the Justin Hammer.
Then you might like to listen to that MCU podcast. You can listen to that MCU podcast on all of your podcast providers, or on YouTube, or on Facebook. We'll see you there.
Oh, yeah, back in the room. Look at that.
Hiya.
I will certainly check out that person or thing.
Yes, agreed.
Oh dear, what a marvellous time to be alive where you put things in afterwards.
What a time we live in, eh?
The magic of editing. So yeah. Right, you wanted some facts, didn't you? Some facts and statistics.
Yes, come on, hit me with the facts and all the statistical data.
Now, I am very aware that the information I've got is from the internet about the internet. So
we all know about the internet. It lies.
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm fairly biased, but it's like saying, "Oh, yeah, how much do we really know about the brain? How much does the brain know about the brain?" Shifty. That's what it doesn't want us to know.
Yeah, you know, because you know what you never find. The brain and never in the same room together at the same time.
Exactly.
Coincidence? That made no sense.
The brain and the brain are never in the same brain at the brain.
Exactly. Mind blown.
Right, so the internet says that basically the older you get, the less likely you are to use the internet. Which, you know, it doesn't say that in so many words. What it says is the older someone is, the less likely they are to use the internet. Not that you're going to grow out of the internet. I'm sorry if I misled you there for a second.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, you did slightly mislead me there, yeah.
So basically, the internet claims that after the likelihood of a person between 30 and 49 using any form of social media is 40%. But what you got to factor in is, obviously, the younger you are, so the 30 end of that scale, is going to be much, much higher than the 49 end of that scale.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas once you get to like 50 to 64, it's only 26%. And it's a strange one because obviously the older you get as well, the different reasons you use it for. Like old people just getting all the news off Facebook. That's an absolute disaster because anyone can put anything anywhere. But you know, these are the things. So obviously the internet is claiming that it's young and cool and it's for young and cool people, but in the same way that like, for instance, if I was to say I make t-shirts, and you were to say, "Oh, who wears your t-shirts?" I'm not going to say really uncool people.
No, I suppose
I'm
not.
going to say young and cool people. You know, good looking, smart, erudite. They're the people.
Mm.
So it is a bit of a biased one, but the statistics do check out as regards more people use Facebook, and then it tends to go like Facebook, Twitter, then Instagram. So Twitter is more popular than Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, globally, apparently,
Oh.
according to that one internet site that I did my very thorough research on.
I hope it wasn't Wikipedia.
It wasn't Wikipedia because I didn't think about that.
Because Wikipedia is just lies. It's just a lie site.
Lies
Anyone
upon
can put
lies.
I'm going to make an account for you on there that claims you're a male model.
Well, that's not a lie, though, Matthew. That's the.
Well, it
this
is. It is at the moment because you've not passed your model degree,
your modelling bar.
have you?
Yeah,
No,
well,
exactly.
That's the problem, innit? I've not got my modelling license. But yeah, so then Instagram less popular than Twitter, apparently. But then I suppose that is probably because everyone who has an Instagram account also has a Twitter account.
Yeah. Okay.
But you've got like a lot of like celebrities and stuff loose. Like you said, it depends what they're using it for, but a lot of them just use it for promo and various other fucking. Anyway, we're getting down a remarkably dull side street with those facts. So,
Okay.
I hit you with this, yeah.
Yeah, hit me.
I would say to you that it's difficult to say stat-wise because I'm not like. I know for a fact that both you and I run several accounts on several platforms. Admittedly, you probably more so and with more consistency. But the point is, there'll be people who have none, yeah? And then there'll be people who have 3, 4, 5. So any of the statistics are skewed massively.
Yes, that's a good point. I also think they don't take in consideration the fact that when are these statistics when do these statistics start? Because when did it start when social media became a thing? Like, did it start with Bebo? Did it start with MySpace? Like, have they even factored that kind of stuff into it?
I tell you what, we're all real flippant about as well. That I feel like we didn't appreciate it at all. The fact that you could put a song on your MySpace page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd love a song on my Facebook page, even if it was just irritating, just to annoy people.
Yeah. They should have that in real life, though. When you meet someone and you walk up to someone you never met before and just some music's playing at you with the first time you meet them. It's like,
and they get like a theme tune.
This is my song, yeah. Yeah, they have to turn it off to talk to you. Like, yeah, shush. Right, all right.
What theme tune would you go with?
Ooh.
I know I've sprung that on you, and it's a big one, isn't it?
That's tough. Because then you got to think it's probably going to be like one of your favourite songs of all time. I would probably...
And then the other thing to factor in, might be one of your favourite songs of all time, but maybe your favourite song of all time isn't appropriate.
No, that's a good point.
Like you turn up at someone's funeral and you're playing fucking always look on the bright side of life or whatever the fuck you've got going on.
Oh god. Or some hardcore thrash metal and you just turn up to some funeral and it's and little Glenda's sat down with her Elvis on and she's like, ooh, what's that?
That's it, and then bloody you strolling, blasting fucking Angel of Death. It's not really appropriate.
Definitely not appropriate. That's a tough question. Tell you what I think we should do is we should ask our lovely listeners what they would have as their theme music, as their theme song. And what we'll do is on the next podcast, we will read some of the best ones out. I think that's a good idea.
I'll tell you what, here's a game as well.
Okay.
For the next podcast, I will have chosen you a theme tune. And vice versa.
You
can
Versi vice, you mean?
That's the one. Ah, yes, versa versa.
Versi vice. Okay, I'm down with that.
That's it.
I can get on board with that.
But, and here's the thing. No explanations, no sulking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
I'm down with it. I'm in.
What a treat.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
because then as well, if in the future we have guests on, we can give them a theme tune as well. Bonus track.
That will become a recurring theme. If you
Admittedly,
are a
probably
guest on
only-
this podcast,
yeah.
we will give you a theme.
Probably only 15 seconds though, because I'm not paying licensing.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get demonetized.
No.
At all, do we? We don't want the YouTubes getting on our back.
No, well, this is it. We'll tell them what the theme tune is, and it's their business to go and look it up then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll play like a snippet. We'll play us like a
Yeah.
like a slither
It's
clip.
fine. It's fine.
It's like a 5 or 6 second clip. That'll do what? We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
It's fine.
That'll be all right. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay.
Right. So
I think. Oh, go
I've
on.
provided some statistics for you.
Mhm.
But you know what I like to chase up my statistics with?
What's that?
Anecdotes.
Anecdotes.
Anecdotal evidence.
Oh,
What have
okay.
you got?
Oh, are you asking if a certain social media person will be venturing out?
That's it. You know what? I've not seen Social Media Matthew in a while.
Yeah.
I just wondered if you had.
If I've seen social media,
Yeah.
every now and again, down the shops. You know, when
Down the
we're
shops,
going, yeah. Actually, always coming out of the shop with a Daily Mail and a double decker.
Oh, you know what? You think you know someone?
You know, Daily Mail and double decker. I mean, I always had it pegged as a crunchy girl.
That's a quadruple decker. You've got to be careful with that.
It's like a baguette. It's huge.
I mean, it's not. That isn't the only way it's like a baguette, because I feel like if you tried to make your traditional baguette meals with it, you'd not get for instance, if you tried to make like a Cuban sandwich with a baguette, you might manage it. It'd be a treat. You'd have sandwich breast. Oh, what a treat! Yeah. If you sliced a double decker in half and put Swiss cheese and ham and mustard in there, no.
Not have the same effect at all. No, it definitely wouldn't hold up.
That's perverse. These
But
people.
it probably melt in your hand as well.
Yeah. It'd certainly melt in the sandwich press, and it'd ruin it. And that's the thing. Who wants to scrub chocolate and nugget off a fucking sandwich press? I've not got the time.
Yeah, definitely not the time or the time, the patience, or the steady hand to pull up that kind of procedure. Bless you.
Yeah, I'm still going. Whew.
Are you all right?
Just become that. Whew. I'm just very passionate about sandwich presses. Right, there we go.
Okay, well,
Christ.
I'll see if social media Matt's finished reading the Daily Mail and finished chomping on that double decker. I'll go check now. So I'll just go downstairs.
I'll see you momentarily.
Hello.
Well, hello. Look at that.
Oh, how are we?
You're looking effervescent.
Oh, always. How are you, Matthew?
I'm not.
You're looking well.
Not bad at all. How are you, SMM?
I'm delightful. And I must say, you're also looking delightful yourself. You're looking very slim these days. Haven't you done well?
Thank you very much. Thank you. There is a way to go, but when I am living my model's life on a yacht, and it will be a yacht, I will give you a shout.
Oh, wonderful. I love the yachts. They're my favourite thing beginning with Y.
Are they?
Yeah, yogurt, yacht.
Yogurt's pretty good. Yorkies are all right. Both the dog and the chocolate bar.
Yeah. Good point.
Yodeling.
Yodeling. Yeah,
a lot of good Ys, to be fair. There are a lot of good Ys. But
yes,
we're getting distracted again. So what's been happening with the social media desk?
Social media desk, right? So I asked some of your lovely listeners about the internet and stuff, and what they thought about stuff like TikTok and Snapchat and other social media things. So I've got a couple of little things to read out that people have put on there. So first of all, we've got Emma Richardson She has said that she's never looked at TikTok, to be honest with you, but from what she's heard, she doesn't see how much it's different from YouTube. She sees videos popping up on Facebook where people are reacting to other people's videos. Do we really need people to decide on how we should feel about other people's content or how popularity has evolved? That's a fair point.
You know what?
I mean,
that's
there's
a
a lot of
grown-up
videos
opinion
out
on that.
there that are just there's a lot of videos out there that are just reaction videos to people doing things. Which again, like I can understand what Emma's going at there with this. We're essentially giving people another platform to be judgmental and awful to people. We don't need that, do we?
I mean, now let me offer you a counter opinion.
Okay.
I love a platform to be judgmental on. I absolutely love it, but I get what she's saying because she's a grown up and I'm a horrible troglodyte who sits here judging people. But yeah, that's a valid and grown up opinion, and I quite like it.
Yeah, it is. It's and I completely agree that we probably don't need that, but it's just
we want it.
It's just something that. But the thing is, obviously, certain people out there do want that because people wouldn't watch it otherwise, would they? They wouldn't be watching it because these videos exist because the people are calling out for that content and they watch it because they enjoy it, which is. Again, I think it's a bad thing. But
I don't know. I feel like it's more convenience, isn't it? Because if it didn't exist, and maybe it's very similar to YouTube, but if it didn't exist, then people would just be doing this on YouTube anyway. So what's the?
Yeah,
like it is what it is, isn't it?
I think. Oh, this one. The thing with this one though is with TikTok, because I mean it's for all age ranges. Like you can. I think you have to be 16 or something to be on TikTok. So you can be under 18, which I think is quite a dangerous thing, really. I find with TikTok because you are open to far more damaging content as a youngster than you are on YouTube because you've got parental blocks on YouTube and you can filter your content and you can't do it as well on TikTok. So I think it's a bit more of a dangerous. Platform, TikTok.
I think the problem is, I get where you're coming from there, but also, we work with 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds at the pub and what have you, and they're animals. They're absolutely horrible. A lot of them, aren't they? I mean, they don't need TikTok to be horrible people. They can crack on and they do what they do to each other, running around. Have you? I'll tell you exactly what it's like. Have you seen popular film Gremlins?
I have when I was very, very young.
Yeah, it's like someone fed the lot of them after midnight, and now they're just getting about being a fucking nuisance.
Yes, I can't believe you're comparing some of your members of team to Gremlins.
Well, once again, no names, no crime.
Good point.
If you think I'm talking about you, probably am.
Expect a text after this podcast.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Don't worry about it.
Just all I want you to do is post in the Facebook group that we have, and just with a list of names. with no context.
Explanation. Yeah, that's how you do it.
That's fantastic. Okay, so Andy Jones, who says, "I'm over 30 and addicted to TikTok. I feel like I'm embracing it and moving on with it. Although I do go on it to keep an eye on my daughter, but I always have fun creating TikToks and doing live streams. He's got 3,000 followers though, so that's very impressive. That's very good.
Honestly,
well, the thing is, I believe Andy does a lot of stuff with mental health though. He does a lot of good stuff for that, and I think a lot of it will be obviously trying to help people, and obviously people will be going out the way to follow these accounts because they want. Again, they're all searching for something to help them in times like this, which is fantastic,
understandable.
And we definitely stand behind Andy with that one because it's a really nice thing to do. Good on you. Yeah, keep going as well.
that being said, and this isn't a nasty thing to say before you worry about it, but 3,000 people's a lot of people in it. Like, you won't want to.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, it is a lot of people, and I'm gonna kind of blow Matt's trumpet a bit here by. There's one video on his Spider-Man account that at the moment is up to 68,000 views. So 68,000 people have viewed that video.
Are you sure
and along with,
that it's not like 4 people thousands of times?
No, it counts as separate views. So 68,000 people, like one person counts as a view as far as I'm aware. So 68,000 individual people have viewed that TikTok, along with a few other like 20,000 ones as well. Which if that is mad. When you think about if you put 68,000 people into one room,
yeah, it's a big room.
So many people.
That's a big room. Like,
it's a mad concept, and it's easy to get bogged down by the algorithms and stuff like TikTok because it's so weird the way they do it. But again, it's you kind of get addicted to looking at how many views and judging how well you do just on views instead of how many followers you have and stuff. Anyway, that's a completely off the conversation topic though. But yeah, that's what happens. It's mad.
Like I say, if I cave and finally make a TikTok as a good friend of mine, Phil, that he's trying to make me fucking do. Then I'll let you know how I get on. Probably, 1 or 2 views. It'll be pleasant. I imagine one will be you, so you'll probably already know about that. And then I don't know. I bet. I don't know. Probably my dad. Fucking. He's not on TikTok, but I can probably send him a link. I don't really understand how it works.
No, well, it's not. I don't know. I think a lot of it's luck anyway. Got some other ones though from we've got Anna words. Anna on Instagram says, I don't feel like I'm too old for TikTok, but I can't be bothered. I really enjoy seeing kids. I really enjoy kids practicing in the streets though. It's hilarious. TikTok is to kids now what learning dance routines to Spice Girls was to us. Which it's that's one positive that you can take from TikTok is the fact that it is allowing people to express themselves in a way that they probably wouldn't normally do in like being a youngster. Like if you go into college or you go to university, like even if you like stuff like drama, you're not going to have that immediate experience that you get from doing stuff like TikToks because there's like acting challenges on there, or if you're a musician, you can post videos and people can find you. Like for example, that the sailor, the fisherman. What's it called? That kind of thing all came off TikTok. Which is huge, and that guy got a record deal from it, and he released a single and stuff, which is mad. And it all happened in the space of like 2 or 3 weeks, which is insane. But again, it's a really cool platform for people to really express their creativity. And I get that, but it is the comparisons about learning dance routines. Essentially the same thing when people would learn Spice Girls routines or like Girls Aloud routines and just dance along in the living room, all that kind of stuff. So that's a good comparison. I enjoyed that.
So, that's just a couple of strong comments we've received at the moment. That's
it is, yeah. And then Danny on Instagram also said, I am way too old for it all. Snapchat never clicked for me, and I found it scary. TikTok seems mad. It's a don't let the algorithms get to you, because like we've said, with the way TikTok works, it's got a weird algorithm, so it literally will bombard you with anything that you like. So say the same stuff with like cookies and stuff on the internet, where if you like search something, then you'll get adverts for it and all that kind of stuff. The way that TikTok works is if you like a certain person or a certain account that posts certain things, then again it will just shove a load of stuff that you enjoy, and to the point where your feed will just be about all the things that you really, really like and then nothing else. It'll be very difficult for any other creator to get into that feed without using certain hashtags or posting certain types of videos. But the thing is, obviously, if you like certain things, you could just get addicted to it. Like say if you like comedic accounts and they're like comedy videos, then literally all your feed will be just comedy videos, which is the way that it kind of works the same way. A lot of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram does work that way, but this one's far more regimented and it's far more stricter. But it tailors to the stuff that you like, because obviously it wants to keep you there and it doesn't want you to ever leave, because it wants to keep you entertained for hours, and you can get lost. You can get lost on TikTok, and that's quite a dangerous thing. But yeah, that concludes our little section of what our listeners have given us on social media. So I hope you've enjoyed that, Matt.
It's been a treat, and it's been a delight to hear from them. That's what I'm saying. We don't need any new listeners. We've got 4. 3 of them have commented. It's great.
So I'm going to love you and leave you now, Matt. I'm gonna go get Matt back. So
no bother. Yeah.
Cheerio.
Once again, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you when I see you.
You will. Ciao.
Bye. You're not quite off screen. There we go. Do. Look at that.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, all right.
Hi.
Did I miss social media, Matt, again?
You did. You know what? It is uncanny. Like ships in the night, you two.
You've never seen me and social media Matt in the same room, have you?
You know what? I haven't. There's you and social media, Matt. Batman and Bruce Wayne. Clark Kent and Superman.
And Brain and Brain.
Brain and Brain. Macy Gray and the Cookie Monster. You've never seen them in the same place.
This is true. Jesus Christ. His hair gets everywhere, though. I'll tell you what.
Well.
Her hair, whatever.
Hair.
Oh, okay. So, what did I miss?
So it's just a lot of really insightful and helpful comments that we've once again got from the social media desk. I would argue the social media desk is better researched and works better than a lot of the rest of the show. It's
Well, he does a good job. Or she does a good job.
We need
social media. Matt does
what we need to do is cement that down. But yeah. So,
shall we tie it up in a bow?
Yeah, go on. Tie it up in a bow.
Should we neatly tie it up in a bow this episode? So, after listening to a few people from social media and obviously our thoughts and opinions on this matter, I put it to you, Matt, that I don't think that age is a factor when it comes to being a social media person and enjoying the internet for all its wonder.
Well, I would, to a point, agree with you there. But I would also say there is a point where you are too old for these things. However, see, now, watch me backtrack. Yeah. However, it is entirely, this is it. I've gone forward, I've gone strong. Oh. Yeah. So it is entirely in your head. Like, if you think you're too old for these things, then you probably are. But I mean, I follow 2 people on the TikTok, both of them in their 30s. You know, it's not. That being said, I would feel a little bit odd about only exclusively following teenagers on it. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, can be problematic.
But yeah, I feel like perhaps you can be too old for it, but only if you yourself decide that you're too old for these things.
Yeah, it's definitely, because I mean the thing is, people aren't going to like judge you for being on these platforms, especially in a time like this. Like, maybe if once TikTok goes again and something new comes along and it's the same kind of format, or the same kind of idea, right, comes along again in like another 2 or 3 years' time when there's no pandemic, but it's obviously big with the kids, then you can understand why people might have a bit of a stronger opinion of people of a certain age being on it. But to be honest, because of everything that happened in this last year and a half, I don't think you can really judge people on filling their time with something that is a big distraction. So
not at all.
although you don't, although it's all in your head as well. Like I agree with you there. I think a lot of it is, especially over the past few years, is definitely because of situations and where we find ourselves in society. And it's not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's been a big plus for a lot of people, and a lot of people have really benefited from this platform. And you see people on I'm just talking specifically about TikTok here. There's a lot of people that have really forged a career out of TikTok. Like some people have like quit their jobs to become content creators because TikTok has deemed them popular enough to warrant giving them money for what they do, which I find it a fascinating thing. There's actually two people that I follow on that became creators, and actually one of them left his job as a teacher to become a full-time content maker because TikTok gave him that big of a push that he could do that, and that's fantastic to see. And when you see that unfold in front of you, it's a really nice thing to see. Although it's essentially going to be like a 15 minutes of fame unless they do something really, really impressive in their time in the spotlight.
That is the concern, isn't it?
But it's what happens after it. That's the worrying thing. We don't know. But again, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 8 to 10 months of after the pandemic has stopped. Well, not stopped, but it's kind of died out and got under control, and people have been vaccinated and stuff. So you don't really know. But the thing is, the Facebook's obviously going to be around for however long it stays around. Instagram will be a thing, and Twitter will be a thing. So
yeah. I get that.
But other platforms are the ones that are probably going to be rotated, and there'll be new things coming and going. But like your mainstay is probably Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And again, people don't really judge people for being on them platforms, no matter what age you are. So
no, that's fair.
Do what you wish. We're not here to judge it all.
I mean,
and I
that's
think
the other thing. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of do exactly what you want. You know, who are we to say otherwise?
True, but we've had a good, detailed discussion about it, and we've looked at it from both sides, and we've talked to it, and it's like we've done. It's like a lesson of general studies in sixth form or in college, where you've got to debate a certain topic on both sides and come to a conclusion, and that I think is what we have done here today. I think we've done a good job.
I always think we've done a good job. It's an ill-deserved confidence. So yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is, it's been an absolute treat to talk to you once again.
It has. I know. Well, we must apologise for being away for so long. The plan over Christmas was to do the end of the year quiz, give us a couple of weeks off, and then we just never got going, did we? Unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame.
It's a sign of the times at the moment, isn't it? But we'll be back again soon enough.
Yeah, we will.
With
next month, probably.
Certainly, maybe. Stranger things have happened. That's the thing, though. If we keep it regular, you'll be able to see you'll be able to pinpoint the exact moment where my motivation goes and I just get fat again. And that's I'm fully aware it's completely fine. But I'm saying this now. I might run a competition. There's a prize out there. I'm currently I'm currently about 90 kilogram, give or take, something like that. Here's the thing. The first viewer that spots me go back over 100 kilogram can win a sweet prize.
But what about the people who listen to the podcast? How are they going to know?
Oh, no, they'll be able to hear me getting fatter. My
You'll be able to hear it on your mums.
The resonance of my voice shall change.
That's a good point.
Hello, everybody.
What are you going to turn into the Doctor from The Simpsons?
Dr. Hibbert or Dr. Nick?
Dr. Nick.
Nick Riviera.
Yeah.
What a
Hey,
guy.
everybody. Hey, Dr. Nick.
So, yeah, I feel like we've covered it all. What an absolute treat.
Yeah, what an absolute treat. It's been a pleasure.
That's what we need to do before we shoot up. Social media platforms that we're on.
Ooh, yeah. Tell us about them.
Yeah, that was nearly bad there. So you can find us on Facebook, That Thing You Like Network. To be fair, you can find all of us on there. It's whether you want the Qualimania, whether you want the Into the Nerdiverse, the Marvel podcast, the MCU guy podcast.
The Marvel podcast.
Here he is. He's learned his stuff.
Not happy.
Good. I'm glad
the highest viewed and listened to podcast on the network, but it's still don't know the name of it. Whatever.
Well, you know, Chief Turd of Turd Mountain. There he is. So you can find us all on the That Thing You Like Facebook page. There are links to all our separate Instagrams and Twitters and this, that, and the other. I believe this podcast particularly would be at What's Age on Twitter. And then what else? You've got my personal one. If you want to, again, if you want to see what I see, because I'm the only one who checks it, at Beastly Beasts HC, that's on there, and then yourself at MCU Guy. Is that everything?
Yeah, MTC UK. If you want my my personal things, that's MTC UK on Twitter and Instagram as well. So,
very organised.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Cheers. Check it out. Right, should we call it a day?
Yeah, I'll stop recording and then we can slag everyone off.
Cool. Right. Everyone expect a text telling us that we don't like your voice messages and we don't like your behaviour as a young person.
This is it. If you are one of the ones that I'm going to bollock, it's going to happen now. Right.
No.
No, right about now. Hold your breath. Right. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials at TTYL Network.